A little dust wire. Imagine the carriage. To the right side of the carriage coming up here, you'll notice everything is a little bit more modern. So if you can imagine, when these homes on the left were built, they were beachfront properties. They had a clear view to the ocean. Couple things you might notice about the historic homes. We've got about 600 Victorian era homes in the town. The decorative woodwork that you see to the left, to the right of the carriage, actually all over the place in the town. Look, especially here at the right. Very unique, very detailed work. Most people call that gingerbread. It's also known as carpenter's lace because it is based on lace work that was crocheted by the lady of the house. A Victorian woman, one of her skills that the girls learned was crocheting lace, making lace. She would create her own patterns. Her husband would take samples of her work and find some really skilled craftsmen carpenters, have them created out of wood to decorate the house. It was a way to show off because everyone recognized that detailed craftsmanship like that took time. Step right. And of course, time equaled money even back then. The more decorative, detailed work you had, the more money you spent.
How long have your stables been in Cape May?
It comes from the original name of the stagecoach company that ran that route. It was the Delaware to the Sea stagecoach, or Del C.
Oh, Del C. We use that all the time. Del C.
On the left side, I'm sorry, the right side of the carriage. This is my right hand, right? On the right side of the carriage, a little yellow house known as the Buttercup Cottage. It moved here from the town of South Cape May. It was built in 1878. It stood once upon a time in South Cape May. South Cape May, you might be thinking, I've never heard of that before. That's because it doesn't exist anymore. What about that?
Oh, that's right.
It's the one under the ocean?
It's exactly right. It was a little real estate venture. Some folks bought a bit of land and started to build houses, sell lots. And they did do some construction. They had a few houses built down there. There was also one of those wooden elephants, like Lucy over in Margate. That is advertising for their real estate venture. And,
the railroad tracks show up every once in a while, right?
Yeah. Yep. The ghost tracks. And South Cape May was down by, I guess what we call Cape May Meadows now, down by towards the lighthouse. Before that house, the Buttercup Cottage, was reclaimed by the water. They moved it here. Jacked it up. Put it on big rollers. Put it up on big rollers. Teams of horses like Sam pulled it along those rollers inch by inch. They moved the last log from the the bath, move it around to the front, continue on, and put it on the barge, sailed it up the coast, and they did the same when they offloaded it to move it here.
Would that have been late 1800s when that was done?
On the left here, this is one of my favorite buildings. The Chalfont Hotel was built in 1876. Hosting numerous weddings, every weekend a wedding here. Still very active. Now this is the oldest continuously operating hotel in Cape May. This hotel opened in 1876 and hasn't missed a single summer season since then, if you can believe that. Around the town, we're in a really unique growing climate, firstly. And secondly, of course, the Victorians loved their gardens. Well, that's it. Now, of course, they wouldn't be tending to their gardens themselves. It was yet another way to show off, because no Victorian man or woman would want to demonstrate and separate that they did any type of physical work. They wanted to remain as pale-skinned as possible. No sunburn, no tan, or anything. That meant you were part of the working class. So they would, of course, hire somebody to do the gardening for them.
You love to garden. That's how I can get my sunshine.
Yes. Now we're walking along the back. Actually, here is one of the most gorgeous magnolia trees, just here on the left.
This one here?
I have ever seen.
Oh, it's not
Last week it had blooms on it that were practically the size of my head.
Oh.
This is the back wing.
They're white blooms, aren't they?
Yes. Yep. This is the back wing of the Southern Mansion. Southern Mansion is a bed and breakfast. When this was built, the original builder, George Allen's department store over in Philly, yeah, he called this, and I'll wait until I turn the corner so you can get the full effect of it here. The long is fairly modern, finished in 1993. The front portion of this, with the big cupola up top there, George Allen built that in 1863, and he sold. The next family had it for another generation or so. You see there's a little addition on the second floor there? You may see them throughout the town. I think there's another one coming up on the left. Well, this one they've actually built underneath it. You'll see in many places an addition built out, sticking out from the second floor of a home. And you wonder, that's kind of an awkward little room. I wonder what it's for. Back in the day, remember, these homes were built without indoor plumbing. No central air, no central heat, no indoor plumbing. Absolutely no creature comforts. You had the outhouse. Middle of the winter at night. So that's how you would add a bathroom, that little addition on the second floor. Figured it solves a lot of plumbing issues. With nothing underneath it, you know, you didn't really have to be concerned too much about toilet overflows and leakage and whatnot. My father would have loved that.
We're kind of familiar with that type of thing. We have lake property that still has the outhouse. Back until we, up in New York, so we left.
The detailed woodwork, Victorian homes are well known for the paint jobs, really. Bright colors, usually multiple bright colors. A true Victorian painted lady, they call them, is at least 3 paint colors. Dark, deep, rich colors, you know, the greens, more intense colors. I like the blues and purples on this house coming up on the right. the reds that you see in the dark teal across the monument here on the Abbey. They cost a little bit more money, so it was another way that people showed off. Light color paint, white for instance, is pigmented with limestone, which is fairly common, easy to get hold of, and cheap. Pigments, natural pigments, to make those dark, rich colors, well, they were harder to come by. And to get those colors really intense, like you see here, well, that required an awful lot of pigment. So it was a way for people to once again show off that they had a little bit of money and they didn't mind spending it on their home. I love this breeze. Cornelius May, the Dutch explorer, sailed into the town of Delaware Bay in 1621, the guy who gives the town his name. He remarked on a couple of things when he sailed into the bay. He said, step up. Oops. He said that the bay was, first of all, it was full of big fish. He did meet whales. Full of whales.
Big fish. Full of big fish. It was.
The bay was so full of big fish you could probably walk from one side to the other without getting your feet wet just by stepping on the backs of the whales. It did become a whaling hotspot for about 100 years, and then the whales caught on and moved on. But the other thing that Cornelius May remarked on, and he might have even had a crystal ball, he said that the climate was very nice. He said there was a nice cool breeze, lots of vegetation. It looked like it would be a fantastic place for summering. They called it summering back then. As it turns out, he was 100% right.
Yeah. Then it became the nation's oldest seashore
Exactly.
resort.
Nation's oldest seaside resort. I think he must have had a crystal ball, because when the whales went away, the whalers had to think of other things to do. They fished for other things, they farmed a little bit, they manufactured cedar shingles of all things. But really, it was vacationing that made the town popular and still does all these many years later.
If it wasn't for Philadelphia escaping the hot city,
You know, people came from Philadelphia,
From Philly.
2-day ride, a 2-day ride in a stagecoach. It must have been worth it. Had to have been something good at the other end, you know.